Excitingly, as promised, we have in the studio Tim Samuels here. Hello, you enjoyed Richard's move, I saw just there. You were.
I'm recoiling. I'm trying to keep arm's length from him. That was terrifying.
Yeah, it was a little bit terrifying. The Immigrant Song Contest. Now, I'm afraid to say I didn't see it myself. I was away. However, I heard Paxman talking about it. It sounded exciting. What was it?
It was knee trembling. It was a take on the Eurovision, but looking at our immigrant cultures, people who have moved here. So different immigrant bands covered Eurovision classics. So you had Iranian exiles who are here for 6 months, who've been imprisoned in Tehran, came here and did their indie take on Cliff Richard.
Oh, man.
You had a bloke from the Democratic Republic of Congo do his indie take on Sandy Shore.
Right, fair enough.
So it was kind of mixing the genres up a little bit.
Mixing the genres up between the immigrant cultures and the very best of British music.
Absolutely. I mean, you could say it's seeing how far immigrants who've moved here have assimilated our love of all things cheesy.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Any highlights from you? Any personal favourites?
I had a sort of slight highlight before the contest started, which was when we had a Kurdish band who'd fled the oppression of Saddam's regime and come here and just, would you mind covering Gina G's You Are Just a Little Bit? And they spent 2 weeks mulling it over amongst each other and then said we have creative differences because we think the lyrics might be too sexual.
Of course.
And the Kurds walked.
Oh, they did?
The Kurds walked, so...
Stormed out?
No, we had creative Kurdish differences.
I wonder how Gina G would feel about this. Have you tried to get a comment from her?
If you could, I mean, you're probably better connected with Gina G, I imagine.
I imagine we could.
If you could get Gina G on, that would...
I'm looking at Nick now. He's making a note. Hopefully later in the show we'll have some kind of official statement from Gina G.
I need that closure.
We will find it, Tim. Don't you worry. Yeah. Now, as I say, I didn't catch it. I was away. However, I am proud to say that we do have a kind of a compilation, a highlights package, essentially. A Polish heavy metal band. I'll test you on this. What did the Polish heavy metal band? What did they play?
They were doing Bucks Fizz. They were making your mind up.
Making your mind up, excellent. Yeah. We have a rapper from Somalia. What was he up to?
Dalad from Somalia. He was Saving Your Kisses.
Save Your Kisses by Brother to Man. All the classics. If we can, press that button. Here are some of the highlights from the Immigrant Song Contest. First up, this is Font covering Cliff Richard, I think. There you go, Brotherhood of Man. That's the Somalian band Dalad. Okay, ABBA by Zimbabwe's Man Friday. Lulu, Afghanistan, Hashmat. Bucks Fizz by Poland's Why Not Here? And Ya Freddy from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Sandy Shore. There you go, music from the Immigrant Song Contest. A fantastic mix of genres and styles. I would ask you what your favourites are, but
Boom Bang a Bang.
You always like a bit of boom bang a bang. That was
Hashmat. That was our lovely Afghan chap.
Afghan chap.
He fled the Mujahideen. Being a singer under the Mujahideen wasn't great. Then his mates came over under the Taliban.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of weddings and functions.
Oh, really?
But he did a lovely take of Lulu.
He'll be getting a lot more work over here, I imagine, with that kind of thing behind him. And who won in the end? Who were the big winners?
The big winners were our Iranian bands, a bunch of lads called Font.
Font, good name.
It's pretty good.
I was being serious then.
Okay. Font, they grew up, well, they're from Tehran, massive Radiohead, Pink Floyd fans. I mean, they kind of were getting this music illicitly in Tehran, ended up playing a gig, getting arrested, 240 people in the crowd arrested. There were helicopters, there were SWAT teams, and they got chucked in jail for 21 days for playing a gig. They've managed to get a 6 months artist visa to come here. They're all living in one room, 5 of them. They kind of gamble each night, so he gets to bed, they play cards.
Really?
And they're trying to cut it as an indie band. And they are proper sort of bona fide quality indie band, but just from Tehran.
So they've got more stuff in their kind of back catalogue. Where can we sort of find out? Is there a MySpace page?
I think they're called Font Bands on MySpace.
Font Band.
Check them out. Maybe we'll look at MySpace.
Yeah, maybe later in the show we'll
get them on. They're good guys.
So they were jail. I mean, how are they sort of finding it over here? You must have spent some time with them, or?
I spent some time. I think they're finding Kilburn pretty similar to incarceration. They're loving it. They're adoring being here. They're playing. They played the Dublin Castle the other day.
Really?
Wow.
What were the crowds like? Were they into Font?
I wasn't there. It was the day we were recording with them, so they left early.
Oh, really?
So I have an excellent excuse for not being there. But they were, they're loving. I mean, they're loving not being in a very oppressive society and being able to kind of be around their indie idols. You know, they kind of got here in the first day. They all piled up to Abbey Road and couldn't believe they were here. But they're great lads.
Absolutely, and also, I mean, you know, coming from a place of oppression and also having been through such horrible things like being jailed just for playing a gig. Obviously, they come here. They sort of they find some dignity in music. So what did you make them play?
Well, there's only one option, and that was Cliff Richard.
Worth the trip over.
They played. They put a very cool kind of almost Joy Division-esque spin on Congratulations.
Oh, really? So that was a worthy winner, do you think?
I think it was very worthy. And they played out Newsnights the other night when they won, and it was very soulful. And crashed into the weather. The weather forecast was still on, and they were playing underneath.
No respect. No respect
for
our
come
weather.
Here, come to our country,
ruin our weather. And what did Paxman think of this? What was his kind of take on the whole thing? Because I've seen him get very angry, even at the fact that there is weather mentioned on Newsnight. So how did he feel when you were closing the show with Cliff Richard?
It was, fortunately, Paxman wasn't doing the closing show. It was Gavin Astley who took it in a very warm, multicultural spirit.
Paxman
refused? He does Monday to Wednesdays.
Oh, right, fair enough.
You know,
you can see, I've been getting up early. It's a breakfast show.
He, I think, had a very soft spot for Hashmat, the Afghan wedding singer.
Really?
Not to break professional ranks, but he had a tender spot for Hashmat.
Fair enough. And I presume that you've signed all these guys up to some kind of management deal. It's now exclusively to Tim Samuel Industries.
I know this was just for the good of the journalism. So once again, I throw it over to you. When you've got Gina G on, maybe you can get a management deal for these guys.
Yeah, we'll do the serious. Journalism.
Font need a management deal, and I think there's the Zimbabwean band who are great. Who did the acoustic version of Waterloo.
Oh right.
Wow. Man Friday. They're very good. They're very indie cool. They could cut it.
And what about the guys from the DRC? Ya Freddie Wanga.
Ya Freddie Wanga. He did Puppet on a String, which was slightly surreal because Sandy Shaw was one of our judges.
Oh, of course.
So
right.
he was doing a Congolese take on Puppet on a String in front of Sandy Shaw.
And Shaw's take on it?
I'd say about 4 points.
Okay, 4 points.
Yeah.
Excellent work. Well, listen, hopefully, I think we should dot some more of these around. We'll take that compilation and pop them out throughout the show. Perhaps we'll get some people to text in 64046 with your thoughts on how we should take the Eurovision forward through spreading our wonderful songs to different countries of oppression around the world. Tim, thank you so much for coming
Pleasure.
in. We hope to see you again. Perhaps.
Yes, I'm just going to keep my distance here again.
Yeah, just do another little move. It's a terrifying thing. Here's some more music.